Welcome back to another episode of Franchise Nutrition and Fitness Podcast. My name is Ryan. I'm a registered dietitian.
I'm Matt. I'm a certified personal trainer and health coach.
Should we list off all of our acronyms?
Yeah, I was making that joke, I think, on a couple of podcasts ago, and I made that joke on social media recently. And I'm currently working on another certification as well. I just want to keep adding more acronyms behind my name. It's fantastic.
But yeah, so there's a lot of letters after our names if we wanted there to be.
Yeah, like it's just, I always think it's so douchey. Like you look at like LinkedIn and people have to have like they're like, come on, like if you're a PhD, like MD, I get it, but nobody wants to see CPT, CHC, SFS, CHC like behind my name. Like,
yeah. Sometimes you have no idea, and some of them are like repeated acronyms. Like a certified personal trainer would be like CPT, but then like a physical therapist might be DPT or PT.
Right.
So are they all personal trainers or are they all physical therapists?
I don't know. So yeah, and like general population, like nobody cares. Like,
yeah. People probably aren't going to look up what that acronym actually means. And
that's the reason I'm just going to tell people I'm a nutritionist, and which I know just grinds your gears. So
hey, yeah, that's the funny part. Anybody can be a nutritionist, but only a few of us are RDs. So just putting that out there.
Just is actually the certification I'm currently working on is a certified nutrition coach. So that's yeah.
Like, I'm also a certified nutrition coach.
Yeah, but see, like you can actually like prescribe stuff with it.
yeah. I am federally able to do that. You know, legally.
I just wanted an additional acronym behind my name. That's really all it is.
It's okay. I'm going to start working on getting some other ones too. So don't worry. I'll just start racking them down. Also, got all these degrees.
So what we're saying is, if you're still listening, is we're just like here amusing ourselves. We are more than qualified to help you with your fitness and nutrition needs and goals.
Yeah, indeed. You can go on over to franchisenutritionfitness.com, sign up for your free meet and greet there, where you can work with one of us that has lots of these acronyms. Or you can let us know about what do you think about this podcast? Have you gone back and listened to all the other episodes? I know that some of you out there listen regularly and some of you don't. So you should go back and listen to all of the other episodes. So that way, you can learn more about us and we can learn more about you and what you guys want to listen to. But what we're going to talk about today, this is something near and dear to all of us because we've all suffered with the pandemic. The endemic is really what it is, but anyway, that's words. What do they mean?
We've all been down with the sickness, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah. I can't do it too well because the reason we came up with this podcast topic is I am currently sick.
So if you saw Matt's post the other day, he was talking about some conditionally essential medicines, and that's kind of where he's at right now. He's trying to take some extra stuff to help him fight off the sickness. And so
it's whiskey, right? Like that's what you're supposed to do. That's
I would not list alcohol in it. Yeah, definitely not. But I don't have anything against that. I'm just saying I don't think that alcohol is going to help you fight off any sickness.
But I like the old wives' tales. So yeah, just a shot of whiskey. Yeah, you're all good.
And I talk about that when I talk to patients at the hospital. Like there's an old adage called "starve a fever," and then I tell them, like,
starve a fever, feed a cold.
Yeah. And then I tell them, you know what those people died of? The fever. You can't starve out of fever.
Well, it's just like the old, like, and this especially Southern thing is to you want to break the fever, so you pile blankets on. Like that's
right.
Seems like a really good idea. Hey, I'm about to scramble my brain with heat, but let's get hotter.
Yeah. That's it's a crazy thing because it's your body's mechanism to like try and kill the infection, but it's going to kill you if you don't take care of it. So
it seems like there's a flaw in the human design. That's
I think it is a miraculous design, but we are flawed people and therefore we flaw ourselves. That's a different topic for a different day. But today we're talking about ways that you can help whenever you are feeling flawed and you're sick. So because Matt asked me about it, he said, what are some things that we could talk about for when you're sick? And I was like, I got a list of stuff about helping improve your immunity. But when you are sick, Matt, like what are some like fitness things that you would be concerned about?
So with sickness, like so let's just say it's common cold, which I believe that's what I have right now. I've nose screwed myself over and over again with the COVID test. I'm COVID clean right now. So let's say you just got a cold. To me, the main thing, and I've heard this before, I love it. Like if it's the sickness is neck above, like you're okay for low to moderate physical activity. With that being said, don't go around spreading your germs. Like if you're sneezing, coughing, all that fun stuff, don't show up at the gym. I don't want to get it from you. That's probably where I got it. That's my most human interaction I have is the gym. So if you're sick, but like if you wanna work out, neck above, low to moderate physical activity. Uh, Consider how you feel. Listen to your body. Nobody knows your body better than you do. You know how you're feeling. So I can tell you, hey, we'll go do this. If you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it. Don't do it. And by all means, neither one of us are doctors, so this is not medically prescribed information. But typically, what I do when I'm not feeling well is if I'm not going to the gym, I decrease the intensity, decrease the duration of my workouts, get a little something in to feel like I'm doing something if I feel like it. And at the end of the day, maybe just go for a nice little walk. So nice, basically kind of similar to what I do for like an active recovery day if I'm not working out. But listen to your body. Don't go spreading the plague around to everybody. Don't go grabbing weights. Be like the people that I've seen that have licked their hands before grabbing a dumbbell. It's a real story.
Because you licked your hand that was probably touching something else, and then you touch the
exactly. Like, and I wonder why I stay sick. Like, so yeah. Long story short, low to moderate activity. Don't spread the germs to anybody else. Listen to your body.
Yeah. What would you consider? What's an example of a moderate activity?
So like I would just so like say if I lift weight, like you're a big fan of the rate of perceived exertion. It's 1 to 10 scale. Always say, 1 sitting around doing nothing, 10, I feel like I'm about to pass out. Boom, there you go. You understand RPE right there. Lower lower in the RPE. So I like for me like that 2, 3, 4, like not killing myself. So maybe even dialing it back. And if I feel like I absolutely positively have to say do a bench press, doing a half of what I would normally do. But like I said, to me, walking is kind of my usual thing. Lubricate the joints a little bit, get the blood pumping a little bit. Feel like I get a little bit of movement, get some fresh air, social distance. That's my new favorite term for the past 2.5 years. So yeah, that's moderate activity.
Yeah, and I'm going to piggybacking off of that. This would be like not taking repetitions to failure.
And yeah, absolutely. Like
stuff in the tank.
A lot left in the tank, and then again, like I said, neck above. Like if you've got chest congestion, breathing problems, all that stuff, probably not the time to go to the gym.
Yeah. Like if you're, let's say you're doing, I'll just use a weight number. Let's say you just do 100 pounds on squat, and normally you could do 200 pounds, right? So that 100 pounds is 50% of what your normal weight is.
And let's still aiming for the same rep range as you would with 200, like not going, well, I've half the weight, so I can double the rep range.
You're not just do the same number of reps. Like if you normally do 200 pounds at 10 reps, maybe you do 100 pounds at 8, right? So, or 10, like at the most. Like you wouldn't want to try and increase and have the same amount of exertion as you would if you drew as you normally do.
It's kind of like when we talked about the programming cycles on a previous podcast, like a deload week. It's similar to what I do when I'm sick.
So, and to save Matt from having to talk more, I'll start talking.
If you're a regular listener of the podcast, you know that Ryan hates to talk and does not talk a lot at all.
I don't talk a lot at all. I'm sorry, Matt, that I talk so much. Especially if you listen to last week's episode where I started talking about
supplementation. If you want to know everything you've ever needed to know about vitamin D, make sure you check out last week's podcast.
Yeah. I'm a big proponent of vitamin D. So we're talking about improving your immunity or helping you when you're cold with food. I just want to put this out there. I have this written in a note document to my right, in big, bold letters. It says, note, there are no proven foods, nutrients, herbs, or supplements that will prevent or cure an illness or disease.
But I read on the internet.
No, not true.
But my best friend told me.
So instead of, I'm gonna just, for the sake and purposes of everyone listening to this podcast, I will just mention a mineral and the best sources of, or vitamin and the best sources of that stuff. So with no further ado, let's begin the list. So as Matt mentioned in last week's episode, I talked a lot about this vitamin, talking about vitamin D. So vitamin D, great for immunity. The best sources are foods that are fortified with vitamin D, natural fatty fish like salmon, tuna, or mackerel, and eggs. So there you go. Just make sure those foods in when you're sick. Vitamin C, everybody hears about vitamin C for immunity, helping those things out. Of course, you can get a supplement, or you can get some red bell peppers, oranges, green bell peppers, or even broccoli will be good sources of vitamin C. So I don't know if anybody else has noticed a pattern developing here of things that normally occur. And then, of course, zinc. Zinc's very good in the immunity pathway. You'll hear about that a lot. Lean meats, shellfish, and legumes. But I just want to point out that the fiber that's in like legumes, like beans, things like that, can sometimes interfere with the absorption of zinc from it. So it's not necessarily a huge source of it, but either way. And then selenium. So this is the interesting thing with selenium, that it helps with thyroid hormone metabolism and DNA synthesis. So that way it can help you protect from oxidative damage and infection. And like similar, like vitamin D, like is at the edges of DNA when it replicates. That way it protects it from misreplication. But the best sources of selenium are Brazil nuts, which are kind of hard to find sometimes. And
they used to have the cookies at Subway that had Brazil nuts in
them. Hey man, whatever you got.
Not the best source of Brazil nuts.
Seafood, organ meats like liver or kidney, muscle meats like chicken breast, turkey breast, cereals which are fortified with it, and other grains that are fortified with it. So those are like the vitamins and minerals that are there. So there's some other kind of supplements that are in there. You'll hear about like elderberry, echinacea, astragalus, turmeric. And I will say that for those things, the elderberry, echinacea, astragalus, and turmeric, there's not a lot of clinical evidence that supports any one of them individually. And there's not anyone that supports any of them like combined.
Yeah, I know so many people just anecdotally that swear by echinacea. It's like,
like there's a ton that have done that are on echinacea for like the common cold, right? So you think you have the common cold or an upper respiratory infection like sinus infection, that kind of thing. There's a lot of studies on those specifically, those conditions, but that's obviously not a blanket statement for all of the other ailments that you might have. Like if you had gastroenteritis, taking extra echinacea is probably not going to help you.
I broke my arm, echinacea. Yeah, that's.
Well, good luck. So, probably won't heal with that. You probably get that set. But the other things that are in there, like astragalus is promoted for increasing blood flow and wound healing. But that's similar to what I was talking about with echinacea. Like there's not a lot of stuff that it actually supports by that, but it's just people's anecdotal reports. I personally think that when it comes to a lot of these other supplements, you'll see them a lot of used in older Eastern medicine. And I think I want to say that there's something there. Like that there's something there that shows that it's good, but I think it's a combination of things, which is the issue with clinical studies. I'll just say that real fast. A lot of times with the clinical studies, if they don't show anything with insert specific nutrient or whatever, then they just can repeat a study, but they'll add something else in, and then suddenly it shows something that happened. And that's just because that's your body's normal mechanism. Like, to help you absorb a lot of stuff, you got to eat some food. You can't actually just take the vitamin, otherwise your body just excretes it. Like a multivitamin will just excrete it. So you really want to eat some food when you're near taking vitamins, but then it gets tricky depending on what vitamin is, because certain foods, like I said earlier, like fiber, too much fiber can deter the absorption of zinc. So like, pick and choose. In general, like we always say, 2 servings of fruit every day, 3 servings of vegetables every day, 3 servings of vitamin D fortified foods every day, and 3 to 4 servings of lean meat every day.
When you edit last week's podcast and this week's podcast, can you do like a supercut of the number of times you said vitamin D? Because that would be amazing.
Man, if I went back and I like, this is episode 25, I think. So wait, we got up to 25. If I went back and supercut all the episodes, there's got to be some time in every single episode that one of us says strength training, like the phrase.
I was about to say, it's good. Vitamin D, strength training. Vitamin D, strength training.
Like what Matt and Ryan talk about all the time. Vitamin D and strength training. Those are obviously the only 2 things you got to worry about. Not
That's
true.
All that matters. So there you go.
Very important, but definitely not all that matters. But what are some things that out there, you guys that are listening to this and that you've shared it with, what are some things that you guys do that you think helps your immunity better?
Vitamin D.
Vitamin D. I'll say one that we didn't say on here, but sleep, like adequate sleep. Like I can't say that enough. Funny enough, go back and listen to our episode on improving sleep, because it is the least listened to episode. Everybody,
because that's society's reflection on it. Like,
yeah,
it wasn't on that particular episode. There was another episode I went on a tirade about that. I think, or maybe we weren't recording. I can't remember. But like, yeah, we put no emphasis on sleep. It drives me insane. Like, hey, make sure you work out, make sure you eat right, make sure you do all this stuff. Oh, I slept 3 hours last night because rise and grind, brother. Like, no, like sleep, recover. Like, you're gonna die at 50.
Yeah, so much growth and repair happens in your body while you're asleep. So that's like part of the importance of it. And so getting adequate sleep will help you recover from any kind of cold. And then also getting adequate sleep will help prevent colds. So it's both of them combined. Like, it's weird.
No, I mean, that's the reason I've had 2 colds in the past like month and a half. Is like I was getting kind of worn down, not really getting enough rest, a little bit stressed. Oh, all of a sudden I was able, my immune system allowed me to get sick. Go figure. But man, no, I got to keep grinding.
Yeah. So if you're grinding, make sure you go back and listen to the beginning of this podcast and get your vitamin D and do some
strength training.
Strength training. It's going to help you out. But either way, that's part of what we talk about. That's why we're here, because every week we say the same thing: maximize every bite,
maximize every rep. And
then go on over, check out franchisenutritionandfitness.com.
Get some vitamin D and sleep.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, everybody.